We just witnessed a 1250x market cap multiplier for XRP on the recent inflows over the last 2 days. This is some pretty crazy information. Before we look at this though, I want to explore South Korea passes major tokenized securities law. Banks can tokenize bonds, stocks, private equity on blockchain. And we know the #1 cryptocurrency in South Korea is XRP. We also have some other information here around Ripple and XRP. We're going to get into all of this towards the end here, but let's go ahead and better understand what's going on here in South Korea and how this can impact us, the XRP holders. So South Korea's groundbreaking new law on tokenized securities, enabling banks and financial institutions to tokenize bonds, stocks, and private equity on blockchain, marks a systemic shift in the region's approach to digital assets. This large change, combined with South Korea's position as one of the most active crypto markets and XRP's top status by trading volume, has several crucial implications for the Ripple ecosystem. So let's go ahead and understand what the South Korean law does. The law modernizes existing securities rules, explicitly allowing the tokenization of traditional financial assets using blockchain technology. Distributed ledger technology is now legally recognized as a medium of issuance and settlement of securities, aligning with tokenized securities with established processes for clearing, settlement, and investor protections. Remember, all over the world, countries in all these different jurisdictions are trying to figure out the best path forward for this new tokenization financial world. And so we need these laws set up in place. That way, when something is sold or moved on a blockchain, it also moves in the real world and is also recorded on any type of ledger that needs to have this information. So how do you connect the traditional system that's decades old to the new blockchain system that all of this value is going to wind up on? This is why we talk about HBAR and XRP and other asset classes that we see, like Algorand as well, that are going to be home to trillions of dollars of financial assets here in the future. It also says the Financial Services Commission and newly established Korea Digital Asset Industry Association will set rules and oversee compliance, including for crypto exchanges, custodians, and brokers, and institutional participation, which is previously restricted, will now be permitted for regulated entities. The law is part of a regional push across Asia to integrate digital assets into traditional finance and designed to attract global capital and foster innovation. So XRP's dominance in South Korea. XRP is the most traded token in South Korea's major exchanges, often exceeding Bitcoin and Ethereum in local volume. For example, on Upbit, XRP's recently accounted for 19% of daily trading volume, with about 671 million per day. The thing is, if and when XRP takes off and gets us to a place where a lot of us can say, you know, boss, here, who's looking forward to making this phone call? You know what, boss? I will be making it in today. Yeah, I'm a millionaire now. Good luck. Take care. I know a lot of us are waiting to make that phone call, right? See, except my phone call will probably be to my wife saying, hey, babe, it's time you can quit your job now, instead of me calling my boss, but all good. South Korea's financial institutions, through regulated custodians like BDAX, can now safely and legally custody and transact with XRP, making it much easier for banks and corporations to integrate XRP into their operations and portfolios. That is exactly what we want to see. Ripple's strategic moves and institutional partnerships. Ripple has announced new partnerships in South Korea, such as BDAX for institutional XRP custody, which allows banks, investment firms, and corporations to interact with XRP within a compliant domestic framework. This reduces prior uncertainty and the need for cumbersome offshore arrangements. Ripple is investing in market education, developer initiatives, and product integration, specifically in Korea, as part of its partnership with Catalyze Research and concerted outreach efforts. Also, too, if XRP is the most traded cryptocurrency in South Korea, if and when this all takes off, aren't South Koreans going to benefit the most from this? Because that is what they are actively most interested in over Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think when you look at XRP's use case compared to Bitcoin right now, XRP has a lot more to offer. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you go Ethereum to XRP, because we are just now getting the EVM sidechain on the XRP ledger, where developers are starting to come in and build this infrastructure that's going to require more XRP. But Ethereum has had all of this for many years, and that's why they have so much development and deployment building out on Ethereum. Let's see here. We talked about Ripple is investing in market education. As the country rolls out legal clarity for security tokens and tokenized asset trading, Ripple's infrastructure, especially the XRP XRP ledger programmability and compliance features can position XRP as a bridge asset for cross-border and multi-asset settlements in South Korea and beyond. South Korea's move aligns its regulatory regime with global trends and is likely to accelerate institutional adoption of digital assets. So this is where, more institutions will want and need this technology. And if these institutions want to build treasuries or they want to build different financial products inside of their institutions to use crypto for instant settlement or for the tokenization of financial assets, they can go right to Ripple and say, hey, we want to work with your technology. And Ripple will say, hey, what do you need? When do you need it by? And we'll send a team to make that happen. For Ripple and XRP, this regulatory clarity and recognition provides new use cases, facilitating enterprise adoption, financial market integration, and serving as a liquidity token for tokenized real-world assets. South Korea is watched closely by other Asian financial centers. Its legal clarity and market innovation could boost regional demand for compliant liquid tokens like XRP to serve payment and remittances and settlement needs in a nearly interoperable digital finance sector. So lots of potential impacts there. Let's get to this information now. A digital asset investor did post this. Let it sink in, then lock in. So we're talking about $3 to $8 billion in inflows by JP Morgan analysts for the spot XRP ETFs. Now we know just because, if we get $3 or $8 billion in inflows, that is going to change the market cap way far beyond just $3 to $8 billion. We know that if we look at the actual data right now with inflows and outflows of XRP, we can see that the inflows to market cap change sometimes are compounded 100x, 500x. This recent one was 1250x. Let me show you this information. So Chad posted this on August 3rd. That was yesterday. Today is the 4th. This video will come out in the morning on the 5th. I will make sure Cas gets it out. It says dropping to a low of 272. In a 12-hour period, reversed back up nearly 20 cents, a market cap value of about $20 billion, full supply on a mere $16 million in net inflows. So you start to say, like, Sensei, okay, what kind of are we talking about? What's the market cap multiplier? And here is the information. I posted the information, the photo. I asked, can you analyze this and tell me what the market cap multiplier is? The market cap multiplier for XRP, based on the information in the tweets and the chart, can be summarized as follows. The example highlighted by Chad Signgrabber's approximately 16 million in net inflows resulted in 20 billion. This is a result in market cap multiplier of 1250x. Let that sink in. If you do $1 billion in inflows, and if you get a 1250x multiplier, that is $1.25 trillion in market cap. So you can imagine if we get $3 billion or $8 billion, and if we have something even close that resembles a 1200x market cap multiplier, we could be off to the races a lot faster than people assume. Let me show you this information. If we just took $3 billion on the lower amount, that would be about $3.77 trillion market cap. If we took $8 billion, we're talking about $10 trillion market cap for XRP. $3 billion inflows would be a $540 XRP, and $8 billion is $1,437 per XRP token. Now understand the market cap multiplier is not always going to be a 1200x or a 600x or a 100x. It is going to start to get a little bit closer to that 1-to-1 ratio as more liquidity comes on chain. But since a lot of these tokens are illiquid with a lot of liquidity, this is why you get such drastic swings. Now, remember, the same 1250x for inflows going up can work the same way with sells going down. So it is a two-way street. We just need to make sure that we understand that. Also, you have Ripple now ranks among the top 25 most valuable private companies in the world with a $15 billion valuation per CB Insights. And so you have Ripple here down here under, it says 23. It's tied with all of these other companies. So if Ripple just gains a few more billion, they could be in the top 15, or even if they get to a place of top, if they get to like a $30 billion valuation, they could be in the top 10. In order to knock the top king off, they would need a $350 billion valuation to knock SpaceX out of their top spot. ByteDance, OpenAI. I mean, is this possible? Let me know what you guys think down below. Is Ripple going to be able to achieve these valuations once they IPO and really take the company to the next level? Also, from Good Morning Crypto, Ripple reports Citibank, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Japan's SBI have invested in 345 deals worth over $100 million between 2020 and 2024. What is this telling us right here? This is telling us that the biggest banks and financial institutions in the world are interested in crypto-related companies, whether it's infrastructure, bridge assets, stable coins, whatever it is. These banks know that they need to have it. The next evolution of finance and banking is going to require the tokenization of financial assets. And these guys understand that. They pay tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of dollars to analysts and executives to make sure that they are prepared for what's to come. I have just built a course for beginners, intermediaries, and experts of XRP to better understand the XRP ledger and Ripple, the company. If you're interested in getting that course absolutely free, there's a link down in the description. Please let me know what you think after you've taken the course. Aloha. You also have RLUSD to surpass $600 million market cap. You also have this new report here, how the White House digital asset report affect cross-border DLT payment projects. I thought this was interesting to at least bring up on the back half of this video. It says the White House's new 166-page digital asset report delivers a clear message: private sector innovation over government issued digital currency, but the policy details reveal a more complex picture. Trump's January executive order banned CBDCs entirely and tasked the president's working group, notably excluding the Federal Reserve and banking regulators with drafting this comprehensive framework. Despite consulting these agencies, the report takes an adversarial stance toward them. And it says the ban initially appeared to cover all central bank digital currencies without distinction. However, the House recently passed the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act targeting only retail CBDCs, leaving the question about wholesale versions used between institutions. That is interesting. We've had a conversation about this in the past, right? I get why you don't want a retail CBDC because, you know, people are afraid and worried that the government will use that to control them. And if you take a look at some countries right now, you are actively seeing how that is being weaponized and used in society. I won't name the country here, but I think we can guess the country has over 1 billion people in their population and is growing considerably. And they are one of the BRICS countries. I'm sure that you can figure that out now that I've given you that information. But when you're talking about a wholesale CBDC, right, central bank to bank, that is where this didn't make sense, because those same issues about privacy and control really don't matter with a wholesale CBDC. That's not for you and me. That's not for businesses. That's for financial institutions and central banks. So you start to understand, like, hey, I do think they probably will move forward with this quietly in the background. I'll bring you all of the information and updates as I get them. There's also one other thing here. Oh no, that's it. Oh, I did want to share this with you guys. I actually posted this in Kryptonaires around 10 or 11 million. I was sent this about 7 or 8 million. I have had a decent position, but I did post about this for members here on YouTube. I don't post a lot of this, trading and stuff like that. This is more for Kryptonaires members, but I wanted to start giving some type of value to the people who are supporting me here on YouTube. And so I gave this to you around about 10, 11 million. This had a high here of about 27 million. So I gave it to you kind of 2 weeks ago, as the post says. Here's the post that I made. Hey everyone, I'm going to start posting some projects and buying into. I gave you the information on X about this, and I also gave you the deck screener. And I do have still a pretty considerable position here. When I say considerable, I'm talking about current positions probably worth a little over $20,000. So there are people that believe this could go to 50 million or 100 million before you know it. If that should happen, my position will definitely go into the 6 figures. I will be taking profit here along the way, but this was just one example of something that I posted. It was about 2 weeks ago. Did it say about 2 weeks? And this was right around this area here, about 11 million. So if you just look at this right here, this is about when I posted it. So this was about 140% gain for any member who was paying attention to that post. So I hope you are enjoying it. If you want to take your education to the next level, you can join Kryptonaires, or if you want to become a member of the channel, I will give you some of this information as we go. I'm Crypto Sensei. Thanks for being here. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.